Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Israel Brief brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm your host, Raylene Marks, bringing you the top stories from Israel and the region every Monday to Thursday. And you know where to find us, right here on this platform and on YouTube. And if you would like to be notified every time we post a news brief, all you have to do is click on the big red subscribe button on our YouTube channel. But I know the big question you all want to know is Israel headed to another election? Now, we will only know for sure tomorrow, but where we stand is as follows. Yesterday, in a special address from a Likud faction meeting, Prime Minister Netanyahu explained that he did not want to go to another set of elections and that at the moment he advocates unity. Now, some are debating whether or not this is political chess being played by the Prime Minister or whether or not he in fact is sincere about this. However, leader of the opposition and chairman of the Yesh Atid party, Yair Lapid, wants to vote to dissolve the Knesset and head to elections. But what does this mean for the blue and white chairman and also our Minister of Defense and alternate Prime Minister Benny Gantz? Well, this kind of puts him in a predicament because whose side does he choose? If he decides to side with Netanyahu, he will stay within the coalition. If he does not, and if he goes along with Lapid, it means that he will also vote to dissolve the Knesset. And it does look likely that Gantz will go the way of Lapid and vote to dissolve the Knesset. Added to this is the Labour Party, who have said that in order to break a government stalemate, they will also vote to dissolve the Knesset. So we will only know for sure tomorrow during a session of the Knesset. But of course, this is what 2020 needs, another Israeli election. But on more positive news, we have been notified that another official from the Bahrain will be headed to Israel in the next 2 weeks to discuss ways to increase trade cooperation. The Minister of Commerce and Industry from the Gulf country will be headed to Israel's shores, and we look forward to very, very fruitful meetings. Meanwhile, touch and go last night as we waited for the Saudis to give final permission for Israeli jets to use their airspace as the maiden voyage, the first flight from Israel, an Israel flight with 180 passengers on board, took off this morning, headed for the United Arab Emirates, and permission was given, therefore avoiding what could have been a very tricky situation. And our final story of the day takes us to Slovenia, where Israel has expressed its thanks that the country has joined others in declaring Hezbollah in its entirety a terror organization. Slovenia is the latest country to do this and joins countries like Guatemala, Austria, Germany, and various others. So the net is closing for Hezbollah, and maybe this also sends a message to Iran that the world will no longer tolerate or recognize their proxy in any other form other than terrorist. So those are the top stories making headlines. Of course, we're all going to wait with bated breath to see what's going to happen to our government tomorrow and if there will be elections 2021. But in the meantime, if you have nothing to do or if you would like to read original content, look no further than our webpage at www.layoftheland.online. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook at Lottle's site. If you haven't already done so, please give us a like or a follow. There's that YouTube channel we were talking about at the Israel Brief, and we're also on Twitter, and you can find us at Lay of the Land with the digit 5. So with the Tuesday edition of the Israel Brief, I'm Raylene Marks, and we'll chat again tomorrow.